Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We are going live again in a very unexpected way, as I do my streams in a most unplanned, unscheduled way, because scheduled didn't seem to work that well for me and my people are kind of all over the shop in terms of attending to my content, so I cannot particularly stick to a specific time. So apologies if you missed this one again and have to watch it as a archived video afterwards on my channel. No harm done. I still respond to all of the comments, I still monitor all of the comments, and I welcome them today and any other day, really. So today we are back in Path of Exile, having a little bit of a healthy switch from Final Fantasy XIV, and I am still maintaining my position that I kind of conveyed to you in the thumbnail and in the and obviously in the title of this video. I do believe that Holy Flame Totem Hierophant is still the best, the easiest, the cheapest, the safest build to put together very quickly and have a lot of fun with if you are a beginner of Path of Exile. Any league, my friends, any league. Yes, I have heaps of fun with the Summoner, with the Reaper that I talked to you about in the previous few videos. If you're interested, take a look. Not pretending to be an expert, never did, never will be, but I am having a lot of fun. I have my opinions on this, and hopefully for people who are similar to me, who like content in an unpretentious, non-pro way, learning the ropes, this kind of stuff, without complicating your view with all these super optimized things. Just have fun. Just join me, have a little bit of fun, pick an easy build, explore Atlas maps, level easily, do not die, that kind of stuff. Cool? Alright, so I'm just gonna greet my people in the live stream right now, in case you are one of those people, and in case you are not currently basically talking to me, but at the same time, you're most welcome to pop into the live chat anytime if you happen to catch this stream live, and in a few seconds we're going to jump into one of the just quest maps, and we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna see exactly how it goes for us. Yeah, so that's all we're gonna do today, and just have some fun together, hopefully. So first of all, let me just introduce you to the build very briefly. I do have a couple of uniques here which I do not believe are mandatory. I do not think that these uniques are absolutely mandatory for this build to shine, but they obviously make things a tiny bit easier at this stage, and you will see just how sub-optimized the build is, and we will make take a couple of steps here together to make this build a little more robust, and a little bit more kind of, all-rounded, so to speak, but still sub-optimized, we're still leveling, okay? So as you can see, I'm only level 42, so it's a build in progress, as the title and as the thumbnail told you. It doesn't matter, you can still have a metric ton of fun with this build, absolutely, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. Alright, so at the heart of this build, almost kind of inevitably, is the Holy Flame Totem. Holy Flame Totem is a fantastic totem spell because it's not like any other totem builds, the ones that rely on spell totem support, that you take a spell, you attach a support to it, and then you amplify the power of this support, of this whole construct, with something else. So in this particular case, it's all in one. It's an actual totem. You don't need any support to make it work in a rudimentary form, in a sub-optimized form as a beginner again. And I'm addressing here beginners. I'm not addressing experts. I do not want to be corrected at this stage, I suppose. And as you can see, most of the sockets are empty right now. It's a build in progress. It's put together specifically with one particular goal in mind. The beginners of Path of Exile that have no other home on the vast landscape of YouTube. Everyone is bloody expert these days, okay? And that's not, you know, that's not animosity talking, that's not resentment talking, it's just a fact. Everyone is an expert who has put thousands of hours into the game. I am not, okay? So this build, if you're similar to me, this build, this narrative, this content, this channel, arguably is for you. Holy Flame Totem, you can read the description yourselves. Summons the totem, has a whole bunch of wonderful effects to it, such as immunity to curses. Because when you summon a totem, it puts consecrated ground. It doesn't just burn enemies, but you can stand in the consecrated ground and be immune to curses. You will see if we encounter some enemies that are curse enemies, like curse-based damage enemies, it will be very good for us to run this, because it will protect us automatically, yeah? it streams fire. That's what Holy Flame Totems do. It's very basic setup for support here because I'm limited in the number of sockets due to the item that I'm using. Do you have to use the same item? Absolutely not. But does this make my life, particularly here at this rudimentary form of the build, easier and more fun? Yes, it does. So I use multiple totems support. Multiple totems support summons more totems. You will see it in action in a second. Supported skills deal less damage, but there are still 2 of them. So the totem does 38% less damage in this particular level of the totem support, which I only started leveling right now. But then there are 2 of them. So obviously you get the delta of the percentage you get as a benefit to your damage, and you will see it. So it makes sense in any case here. Controlled destruction is a questionable addition here, but I am not relying on critical chance in this particular build. I'm not relying on critical chance in this build. I am relying purely on increasing fire damage, elemental damage, spell damage, because totems, they are kind of like spells. They are not minions, they're kind of like spells in this game. You summon a totem, it's as if you are casting a spell yourself. So whatever is boosting, in a nutshell, whatever is boosting that spell, then, you know, it would work for the totem, for your totem as well. Nycta's Lantern, I was very lucky to gamble for Nycta's Lantern with Gwenon. In the current Expedition League, Gwenon is one of those travelers, whoever you help in the maps, in those events, and I was gambling on Scepters, and I got Nycta's Lantern, which I do not know. I'm not a pro of this game. I do not know if it's actually a best item in slot for this type of build. It probably isn't, but at the same time it's very good, because first of all, it increases elemental damage, spell damage, boosts your fire damage particularly. It adds fire damage quite substantially. Socketed gems are also supported by level 10 fire penetration, which, if I'm not mistaken, is reducing the resistance to fire in the enemies, which is always great, and the further we go in the game, the more it will become an issue. And it gives +2 level to socketed fire gems. Who would say no to that? At this stage, if I have my Holy Flame Totem and it's currently at level 11, it has +2 levels from items, so it pushes it to level 13. Fantastic, isn't it? I have a whole bunch of other things which, as you can see, are rudimentary. They are not yet even socketed, but we are going to socket a couple of more things and see how that goes. And you're free to use it as a very unpretentious, beginner-friendly, scratching the surface of the build guide. You're also most welcome to take a look at a more properly put together guide-like video for previous League 3.14 Ultimatum, where I have done an overview of the Holy Flame Totem there. Hello, Mr. or Miss Profane. Very nice to see you here today. Thanks very much for jumping into the chat, my friend. If anyone else wants to say hello, I'd love to say hello back. Alright, so I'm just giving you, again, continuing to give you here a very quick overview of the rudimentary form of the build, of what you need to kind of go for. Once again, Nycta's Lantern, in this particular case, I was simply lucky at the leveling time to get that item, but you may not have it. Naturally, the more sockets you have, the more sockets are linked, the more fire penetration, fire spread, that kind of stuff, ignite supports that you can put in, probably the better off you will be. I have double checked and confirmed before recording this video, before starting this stream, that Holy Flame Totem does ignite enemies. So anything ignite wise is going to still support this heart of the build. That's why we spent so much time talking about. What else do I have here? Really nothing super crazy exciting so far. I was also lucky to get Cloak of Flame. Cloak of Flame, is it the best in slot? Very questionably no, but I love the look of it. Do you love the look of it? I love the look of it personally, again, as one of the casuals who doesn't buy fancy, you know, glamour, as we would call it in Final Fantasy XIV, but in this case it's just a natural look of it. What does it do? Well, it gives a massive fire resistance, and it increases ignite duration on enemies, and it gives my streams of flames that my totems are going to be pouring upon people. It gives a massive amount of, well, 10% chance to ignite, but it happens very often, yeah? Alright, well, damage from hits, of course, I'm taking as fire damage, but I have a massive fire resistance, so it's not a big deal here. What else do I have here so far in this build? I have summoned Flame Golem just so that I don't feel particularly lonely to run around. And Storm Burst was my very early starter of this build. Kind of attempted little thing here. If you can see behind my camera, Storm Burst description: unleashing orbs of energy while channeling that repeatedly jump towards the targeted locations. Anyway, I often put in some of those experimental, for me, spells to level the gems up, even if I'm not actively using them, to see if I can then make a totem out of them. I like to make totems out of things. Profane is asking, what do you think of this league? Mate, I don't mind it now that this guy is level whatever 42 and my other ones are level 60ish and stuff like this. I switch between characters, which is why I don't push end game very quickly. I kind of just spread my attention a bit, and therefore the time. At first, before level 12, let's say before level 12, when most classes, most builds start getting their good abilities, more powerful abilities. I don't know, melee builds start getting Lacerate. I don't know, something else that's happening for other builds. Blanking out right now, can't give you on the spot examples. Before that point, I think especially melee builds are suffering from harder content. I think that content is generally a little bit harder. Mobs are hitting harder. You are generally feeling a bit weaker. At least I did. Let me know what you think. First of all, what build have you tried, if you have tried any, and if you noticed also that initial, say level 5, 6, 10 kind of difficulty barrier, unless you're playing something like a summoner and something that, or let's say a ranged, like bow-based builds. I found that because they can maintain their distance, I found that they are actually not too bad. I found that they are not suffering too much from harder content. That's just me. I don't know about you. All right, let's take a look at my stash, because I think I have a couple of things that I wanted to put into this build if we can. So let's try and let's grab these things and take a look at them together. Once again, it is for absolute beginners, for people who may not have put any of these builds before themselves. First of all, currently this build, and I'll show you my passive skill tree in a second, currently this build suffers quite a bit from mana losses. Why? Well, for a whole bunch of reasons. First of all, mana regen right now is not my investment. I haven't invested into mana regen practically at all. Secondly, I have, perhaps a little early for this build, I have taken Mind Over Matter. Mind Over Matter is a fantastic defensive layer. It's a fantastic defensive layer, and it actually already got me out of a few tight spots there. But essentially donating 30% of damage, whatever that damage volume is, in the form of mana, you do feel it. When you are under onslaught of multiple enemies, you do feel it. You lose mana really quickly. So mana regen and mana pool here would have helped quite tremendously. Which is why I am thinking of actually embedding Clarity Aura. Clarity Aura would obviously be unleveled. It would start from level 1 and it would be nothing at first, but it will level out and it will help with mana regen. At the very least, that's going to be my attempt. It's a build in progress. We're experimenting here. Let's just see how it goes. Additional to that, at the moment, I have not yet incorporated, let's use a fancy word here, cast on damage taken support. Cast on death, not interested in that. Cast on damage taken support. My intent is to use my usual go-to cast on damage taken support paired up with the Immortal Call. This pair has gotten me out of a lot of really tough situations closer to end game on other builds, even on the previous Holy Flame Totem and and Divine Ire Totem builds in the previous League 3.14. So I'm definitely, it is my intent to at least weave this in and at least weave the Clarity Aura in. That is what I want to do. At the moment we'll just put it in here so that it starts leveling up, even if I'm not going to turn it on instantly, immediately. I believe that I also had some way, if I'm not mistaken. No, I have Flame Dash that I'm using for movement. For some weird reason I thought that I'm using some other aura, but maybe I'm looking at a different character. I have way too many to keep track of. Very quick overview before I start talking and before I stop talking and we start kind of just jump into action a little bit. This is as I started leveling this build. I typically go towards the primal manifestation, which increases the totem damage, totem life, totem duration quite substantially for early build. Then I extend here left and go past extra elemental resistances, past extra elemental resistance again, some additional armor and energy shield. I go towards this node of divine judgment because this whole journey, this whole branch here gives quite a bit of extra elemental damage. I found fairly cheaply in terms of how many nodes, how many points you need to invest to get there. So in my opinion, that works actually quite well. I welcome feedback in the comments below, in the live chat, wherever. What do you do with that? Do you take that normally yourself or not? Then, obviously, if it's a totemic build, question is when, but obviously you have to get to this node, which is Ancestral Bond, where you basically give up your direct damage. You say, I am not going to do any more direct damage with any spells that I would have been casting myself. It gives you an extra totem, which is nice, but you lose the ability to do damage yourself. It's very critical to decide when you want to do this, because if you do it too early in the game, before your totems are boosted in strength, let's say here, before possibly you deviate here and you take also Shamanistic Fury, which further increases totem damage, before you take this, so before you basically can outsource damage to your totems kinda fully, I highly recommend against taking this. You could even line up here but not take this item and just wait. Multiple totems support, if I'm not mistaken, you get multiple totems support, which kind of creates a bit of a more feel that it's worth giving up direct damage component and outsourcing it fully to that crowd of totems that get summoned here. I say you need to do it after level 30 for sure, because at level 33 you can do the first Labyrinth, first Ascension, and our Ascension choice naturally is Hierophant, and naturally we're going first for Pursuit of Faith, that increases totem duration, increases totem placement speed, and gives you extra maximum number of summoned totems. So it's kinda becomes a lot beefier and a lot more like, okay, I can justify why I gave up my direct damage component. It's all on my totems, they will take care of it. So these are my thoughts. Obviously further I will go towards Ritual of Awakening because it's an increase of damage per totem, regenerating mana, and life per second for each summoned totem. Great. If I have like 5 totems, we will be regenerating 5% of life per second. That's massive. It's a massive defensive thing. That's my intent. That's what I'm doing so far. And yeah, once again, before you fully commit to going fully totemic, giving up direct damage component and saying, my totems will deal with you, my friends, I reckon you need to have at least have done the Labyrinth, probably at level 33, so that you have 1 extra totem. And possibly, I have done it earlier, but you possibly might want to wait until level 38 when you get multiple totems support. Then you have 5 totems. Boom, 5 totems in front of you. That's something. What am I planning to do further? I'm planning to take the detour here upward. I am going to take this Heart and Soul to increase my maximum life and maximum mana, because at the moment I'm suffering. I'm suffering without enough life pool and mana pool. At the moment it's easy maps, it's fine, it's kind of ballpark of what, between 40 and 50 level, it's nothing. But it will become harder pretty damn quickly. So that's what I'm planning to do. Once again, comments, welcome, live chat, comments afterwards whenever you catch this video, all good, all good. Ideally, I'd like to stretch upward here and take these fire-based nodes. Heart of Flame, Breath of Flames. I'd like to take that because obviously we're investing everything into fire damage. Fire damage, let's burn everything. Speaking of burning everything, enough of talking. Well, we'll continue talking, of course, especially if you want to talk. But what we're going to do is we're just going to continue leveling and I'll show this build in action. All I'm going to rely on is movement, which is Flame Dash, and I'm going to rely on the totem. Clarity Aura, I'm not even going to bother so far putting it in. I'm going to be fine. Alright. At the moment, unfortunately, this chat that I have the chat window is actually blocking my view a little bit, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to move it here. So just a little. All right, so we're just going to leave Overseer's Tower. We're in Act 5 and we're just gonna keep going and see how we go. Let's see. Control blocks. And you will see what I mean in terms of just how good, how cheap, how easy, how safe the totems make you feel. Because in any other case, I'd have to walk in right now into that room, wouldn't I? I would have to walk in. Instead, my totems dealt with everything. And no, I don't have to play so safe. In this case, I can just be obnoxious and I can just do this. Take a look at this. I can just keep going wherever I want. Project camera, project the map on the screen unless it bothers you. Let me know if it does. And I'm just gonna keep going like this, throwing totems everywhere. That's it. And they burn absolutely freaking everything. Absolutely love it. But you can see probably behind my camera there, I think a little bit would be visible, maybe, that mana, however, my mana definitely suffers. My mana suffers. I lose mana pretty quickly. So at the moment, mana losses, quick mana losses are definitely a massive, massive weakness of this build. If you're watching this video afterwards, after the live stream is over, which is very, very possible because of unpredictability and shortness of my live streams. My live streams are usually like 40 minutes to an hour, maybe. That's just based on my playtime available. I will add chapters, timeline in the description of this video. Take a look in case you want to fast forward past all the initial explanations and stuff and jump towards this element, or if we are to encounter anything else interesting topic-wise, possibly ahead of this time, during the time of recording, I'm going to definitely create chapters that will take you there as well, towards the summary, maybe. And that's it. So absolutely love the totems, the beauty of the safety. And there is also another less obvious thing about totems that I think I need to bring to people's attention in case you never played with totems before. Let's allocate this point somewhere. So I am at the moment going here to get this node to boost my life a little bit extra. I will consider increasing also mana and going this way. Let me think about it. I'll think on the fly. This Arcane Will would be not bad, to be honest, if I went this way and took Arcane Will, because it would be mana regeneration, and at the moment I'm really suffering from mana losses. I kind of need to probably give myself a chance to get a little bit more mana here. So what I wanted to say here is that one extra, slightly less obvious thing about this build, what makes it really, really good, in my humble opinion, is that you will notice that, let's say, if I'm interested in just continuing to go, I keep going, I keep dashing, I keep flame dashing. Most builds would have to stop and deal with the enemies before they can progress. This build, if I know that I'm not underpowered, if I know that my totems deal with enemies effectively enough, efficiently enough, I know that I can just throw them, right? I can just throw them down there, right? And I can just keep going. This saves time, especially in leveling. It's fantastic. This saves tremendous amount of time because I keep going while my totems do the job for me. Is it becoming a little dangerous? Can it become a little dangerous if I just keep walking like this and just throwing totems without particularly stopping and looking and clearing and being a little bit more careful? Yes, it is a little bit difficult. Can be a bit difficult the further you go. Especially if you meet some groups of enemies that have massive elemental damage. For me, somehow, I'm mostly suffering from lightning damage. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just this particular build, even though my defenses are all at 75 right now. So it should be okay. But, you know, things happen like that. All right, let's just clear these control blocks, my friends. Just get through them to the street. And maybe in the daylight. I kinda, after a while, I'm sure it's unsurprising, and I'm sure that's how a lot of Diablo players, a lot of Path of Exile players feel. After a while, I get a little, not claustrophobic, far from it. I don't have that effect at all. But I get a little bit tired of running in the dark by myself here in the corridors, turns, doors, turns. And when eventually I get out into the street, so to speak, into the open, it actually is much nicer. And see what I'm saying? I'm talking to you here. I'm like recording this chitty chatty, gonna have a sip of water in a second. And my totems have been burning everything in that during that period of time. Yak, my friend, how are you, my man? Stream quality is good today because I'm not on VPN, dude. I'm not on VPN at all. I'm playing Path of Exile. Path of Exile servers are all in New Zealand. I'm in Sydney, Australia. I don't need to connect through America to Japan like I go to Final Fantasy XIV. Today I just felt like another quick stream, half an hour to an hour, possibly, man. And I thought I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna try and mute myself so that you don't have to hear me gulping, even though I'm sure in the streamer community, which I'm not a member of, I'm sure it's acceptable. Ah, yeah. Excellent. Hydration, my friends. Hydration is everything. Would be interesting actually to hear, so Yak and others, if you are still watching, my friends, in the stream live, any of my Final Fantasy XIV people who primarily play Final Fantasy XIV, these or any other similar content, has it inspired you to try Path of Exile at all? I'm not saying just me, I'm saying lately there's been a lot of excitement, you know, surrounding the new league. So I'm just curious if any of this or some other circumstances made you consider, you know, to switch your attention. Path of Exile, Final Fantasy XIV, something else, I don't know. But for me, this seems to work better than one particular game, at least right now. Like, I don't know, would be curious to hear. Exit lag. Exit lag, what is exit lag? Is exit lag a VPN, or is it like a separate tool type of thing? I would like to try that, yes. I just paid $80 for substantial amount of time of having Surfshark VPN. I kind of don't want to invest into another one. I have the money, I just feel being a bit stupid that like investing so much stuff. Well, Yak says no interest in Path of Exile, these games. Fair enough, mate. It's nice for you to pop in anyway and just say hello, because it's all about human connection, right? This doesn't have to be your type of game. For me, I have to say again, I'm not trying to sell it to you or others, but for me, maybe if you watch my content for Final Fantasy XIV, other kind of stuff, maybe it would be interesting to just hear a perspective of a person who does. Everyone has their own interests, and I am an MMORPG player because I spend so much time in, you know, World of Warcraft, and I played for so long exclusively World of Warcraft. Now I'm playing Final Fantasy XIV. I just don't want to burn out, and I am a very particular player. I don't raid. I take my time with the alt jobs in Final Fantasy XIV. I take my time with alt characters here in Path of Exile as well. And, you know, and basically, I guess for me now that I am out of World of Warcraft for a whole bunch of good reasons, Path of Exile, Diablo have always been my, how should I put it? It's like an offset game. It's like something that allowed me to switch from the main meal to a dessert. And I know I've used this analogy in the past, but it resonates with a lot of people because it's easy to explain what I mean. When you kind of have a main meal, and then you're like, you know what? There's only so much chicken and protein and vegetables that I can have. I'd like a cookie on the side. Bear with me. It's not even attempting to be a dad joke, but it is what it is. Hello, Ron Bennett. You used to play WoW, and then you changed once you found PoE. It's more designed for you. Single player who plays semi-consistently and struggles to make in-game currency. Mate, you're speaking my language. I'm similar to you, except struggling to make in-game currency or not being able to commit to specific time intervals of play never stopped me from playing, you know, say WoW or any other game, really, to be honest with you. Destiny 2, Division 2, shooters. I'm into looter shooters as well. Haven't played for a while, mind you. This has consumed me a bit lately. But I'm kind of a casual, lazy player with unpredictable play time. Yes, Yak, it's mindless action game. Exactly, dude. Exactly. And you know what? I don't take it defensively. And if you think that I'm going to be defending it or something, not at all. I see it that way too. I like that, like, I don't know. One night I would dive into the storyline of the Dark Knight in Final Fantasy XIV, and I'd be like, oh, what are these people doing? Oh my god, what's going to happen next? Who is this girl? Oh my god. Like, I'd be like that, completely, fully committed, fully dedicated. And then I'm like, okay, time to just put some fire sticks into the ground and burn everything. And that was just my mood today. You know what I mean? That's how I play. That's why I think Path of Exile also is so corruptingly accessible in terms of zero price point. It's free. It's freaking free. Have I spent money here? Yes, I have. I bought premium tabs in the stash, and I do not regret doing it. I do not feel like they forced me to. I do not even feel like I had to. Because considering how casually I play, you know what, like, I could have done without any of that. But I just feel like I spent enough time in this game, and I feel like Grinding Gear Games, Chris Wilson, I feel like they're good company. And no, I'm not one of those people who says, oh yes, but they are owned partly by Tencent from China. Like, I don't care. I don't care, okay? Speaking of Final Fantasy XIV, Yak is asking, how far am I into Heavensward? How far am I into Heavensward? Okay, if you remember the storyline, and please don't spoil for me further. If you remember the storyline, I am just to the point now where we go back to Ul'dah to save one of our dear friends who has been captured at the end of ARR, and I'm just trying not to spoil it for anyone else, if anyone actually bothers to pay attention to what we're talking about here. So I am to that point. I am to the point of I'm to that point, you know, and I love it, and I think it's like one of those good meals that do not need to be eaten instantly. I can save some for later, especially as I took some detours with Gunbreaker and with the Dark Knight and yeah, switching back and forth a little bit, listening to you guys who tell me, hey Gyro, don't invest too much time or you will be drowning in buttons by the time end game comes. Yes, mate, I think it's a good part. I agree, I think it's a good part. What I don't particularly like is the fact that baddies seem to always escape, but it's a game, right? It's like any storyline. You can't get rid of the bad baddies straight away. Otherwise it's like, well, we have to want to kill baddies. You can't just let us get rid of all the baddies straight away. I get it. I know it gets better. As in, by I know, I mean people told me, including yourself, Yak. And I look forward to it. It's nice for me to know that I have something that is waiting for me. Like, I like that feeling. I don't like feeling how I felt in World of Warcraft maybe a few weeks, if not months, preceding my exodus from there. It kind of was like, I knew I always had Diablo, I always had Path of Exile, no one stopped me from going there, but because I refer to it as a main meal versus dessert, for me World of Warcraft was main meal. And I kind of felt like that main meal is almost running out. And I felt like there is not much of it left. So I was like, well, how long can I entertain myself with this? How many other things can I, you know? Bad guys that die quickly are not that powerful. That's a good point. That's a good point. And you want them to be powerful, otherwise they are not feeling like actually proper baddies. Where I'm not okay with, and I will tell you specifically here in the whole Ul'dah situation, what I'm not okay with is that I got to the point in the storyline there, in the Heavensward storyline, in the Ul'dah rescuing our friend storyline, I got to a particular point, if you remember the narrative, where somebody comes to us and says, oh yeah, look, this is what must have happened. The baddie, seemingly the baddie, one of Lalafell baddies, by the way, I'll tell you who I'm talking about. One of the Lalafell baddies must have just played us all and took the situation, like took advantage of a situation, blah blah blah, and so on and on and on. Sort of alluding to the fact that we need to let the baddie live for now. Like something has to be attributed to the fact that they didn't kill our friend and they just, you know, and anyway, I don't want to talk in cryptic things, especially for people who came here to watch a stream now or afterwards of Path of Exile. I don't want to keep talking, I suppose, for too long in this context about Final Fantasy XIV. But, you know, it's a casual, nice little friends type of chat stream. So I hope people will forgive us. What's happening here? I'm still maintaining my position on the fact that Holy Flame Totem build is fantastic. I love it. Hello, CE. I think Final Fantasy XIV does morally grey baddies pretty well. I agree with you. I agree with you. There is certainly complexity, and I can't believe we keep talking about Final Fantasy XIV on a Path of Exile stream, but who cares? Who cares? If I have people right now in the stream who want to hear more about this build, Path of Exile, please, please, do not feel salty and just speak up. Just speak up and I will switch the narrative towards the one that interests you more. But until you are there, I just talk to people who want to talk. So I guess you can't blame me for that. All right, where are we gonna take this build, my friends? Well, I think that I'm gonna continue. Yeah, Yak, this is a super cruise easy build, my man, and that's exactly my point. I'm sometimes in a mood when I want to talk to my friends, when I want to play this like with one hand and maybe watch Olympics on my phone here in the next window. Not right now, I'm not doing it right now, but sometimes I do that, man. Hello, Dylan MTG. Are you playing MTG, my friend? My son is playing MTG. MTG, power to you, my friends. The rules of the game have always been too complex for me to find entertaining for too long, if you know what I mean. But my god, mate, we spend so much money on card decks and stuff like that. Respect. This is a nice cruisy build, and I sometimes, again, probably you just jumped on, you didn't watch the stream from the beginning when I was ranting about this for a while. I like simple builds. I like simple builds. Do I think that this is gonna push tier 16 Atlas maps? No. At least not right now, at least not in this incarnation, at least not without extra investment into it. But is it crazy enjoyable? Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yes, Yak. PoE has Necromancer builds better than freaking Diablo ever dreamt of it. Short answer. Take a look on my channel for the recent builds, Reaper builds, Laser Spectres builds. There are heaps of other builds, but Necro builds, man, oh man. Good game for it, is all I'm gonna say to you, my man. Okay, my friends, even if this is not gonna boost my power, it's gonna boost my survivability. I am going right now here towards Arcane Will. I'm gonna increase my mana, I'm gonna regenerate more mana, I'm gonna get more recovery of mana. That's what I'm gonna do, my friends. So here we're gonna go. We're gonna still invest into health, into survivability, into sustainability of this build. And once again, if you joined just recently, you're always welcome to go to the very front. I was talking a little bit about it, and I kind of took you on the whole journey here to this point. We will continue clearing that. And in the meantime, I'll catch up with the live chat over here. All right. Yeah, Dylan, so look, honestly, my man, nothing gets easier, cheaper, safer, faster to have lazy fun with like this, like I described so far, than the totem build of sorts. And in my opinion, once again, my friend, something that's based on a Holy Flame Totem, in my case, luckily plugged into Nycta's Lantern, Crystal Scepter. Like, it's just too easy not to do, okay? Too easy not to do, my man. And how do you get Nycta's Lantern? Mate, it's random, as any unique drops are random in Diablo, in Path of Exile, no exception. But this particular league is the best time to try right now, I think, especially if you have certain items in mind. You do the Expedition League mechanic where you discover those fields that you need to explode and stuff like that. And we'll talk about Righteous Fire in a second, Dylan. And basically what was I gonna say? It will come back to me. So find Gwenon. Gwenon is one of the NPCs, the one who is specific to Expedition League people, I don't know, and you gamble with her on scepters. Just gamble with her on scepters, and sooner or later you're gonna get Nycta's Lantern, and you're gonna get the build similar to mine. All right, so Diablo 3 is a letdown. Mate, Yak, I have not checked the latest season because I'm off Blizzard Games for now until more heads get chopped at Blizzard Entertainment, more than just the figurehead J. Allen Brack, who right now they are kind of putting front and center as if he is to blame for all the problems that they have there. Hello boys, sorry about that, you burn. Yeah, so I expect more heads to roll at Blizzard Entertainment before I even go there, but that's more of my personal position. I do not expect others to necessarily be so extremist or whatever, but I think I'm being rational. About it. Sorry about that. That's why I'm here in Path of Exile. Final Fantasy XIV is my home for a long time. I think if they give us, when they give us Oceanic servers in Final Fantasy XIV, holy moly, my people, I'm just gonna be like, hallelujah. That's what I'm gonna be. Praise the Lord, I'm gonna say. Alrighty. So, CE, your summoner build has helped me enjoy Witch and my first league quite a bit. My friend, music to my ears. Never pretend to be an expert. There are so many better informed people out there. But I enjoy the game and I kinda sell it for what I bought it for, using an awkwardly translated metaphor. Like, this is how I play. I offer it to you at face value like this. I talk about these builds to the extent, and I play how I enjoy it and how I think it's easy, not like hard, try hard or whatever. If this works for you, good for you. Now, Righteous Fire builds for my man Dylan here. My opinion, again, not an expert, especially not an expert of Righteous Fire builds. If I know something in this game, let's be honest, it probably is around summoners, witches, and totems. In all honesty. Yes, I've done quite a bit on Archwitch as well, but Righteous Fire is a very particular build that I have a video about it, but it got so slammed into the ground by people who know more about the game, and I don't even blame them. But they basically criticized me for maybe teaching people the wrong thing. And I, once again, was just talking about it like I talk to you now, and sharing my findings, even after some research that I've done, right? Here is my opinion on Righteous Fire, okay? Righteous Fire looks very appealing in terms of passive, how passive it is. And reading your comments, Dylan, specifically right now, I can see that you're looking for slightly more passive things, even though you say that casts something on crit, like you're trying to look for builds that cast something on crit. But first of all, my man, you will need to crit before it casts something. So fair enough. I've seen some videos where those builds also looked kind of fine, kind of fun. For me though, mate, I was looking for Righteous Fire build, for example, and I was looking for Auto Bomber build in the previous league before it got nerfed into the ground. For Auto Bomber build, I even have a video about it in League 3.14. Because I want passive gameplay, dudes and dudettes. I just want to run like this. Preferably having someone there in the chat with me to talk to, because it's more fun for me this way, but doesn't have to be that way. And that's how I chill after work, that's how I chill after like just day-to-day duties, just dad duties, you know what I'm saying? I found that in the previous league, we obviously had a very good opportunity to build auto bombers because of two reasons. First, the classic auto bomber build that I documented very nicely. Yes, Yak, I'm seeing your comment. Thank you, my man. Very, very happy that you might be giving it a go. It's a very good game. Classic Auto Bomber was relying on a very specific ability called Fireburst that was given to an item when you use the particular essence on that item. It kind of just gave it magic powers, if you like. And it had automatic proccing. Specific automatic proccing of that ability on hit. Whenever you hit anything, it started proccing things. There is something in this game that can create a storm cloud above your head that kind of automatically hits things with the lightning, which automatically in turn was proccing the fire burst from that special ability, from that special auto bomber built stuff in this case. Whatever. I don't want to retell you the story of that video. Go and have a look at it. It was easy, like corruptingly easy. You just ran around and everything died. It was so much fun. At first you were like, whoa, like this. It was borderline boring, but you know, but it was really good. Now in the League 3.15, in the Expedition League, first of all they nerfed that core ability of Fireburst. Secondly, they have also given anything auto-proccing, like cast on crit, cast on hit, any of that stuff. They gave it mana costs. And when you give things mana costs, obviously it's not as fun as it used to be. So for me, upon examination, and I know that I've drifted off from the Righteous Fire build thoughts, I'll get back to it. For me, the most passive yet still viable build for League 3.15 Expedition remains this. I think, in all honesty, remains the Holy Flame Totem, this. But speaking of Necro builds, Witch builds and Summoner builds, please give it a shot, Yak specifically, who said in the comments that it's very interesting for you. And CE also tried Summoner builds of mine, which is nice to hear. Please give the Reaper, the new skill, the new summon, please give Reaper a shot. You will be entertained and probably, I would even say, pleasantly surprised. In Reaper build is a little different to a classic summoner build. Classic summoner build, and something that Yak probably in the live chat is referring to, fun of classic summoner builds is that you swarm enemies with the number of summons. There are lots of skeletons, there are lots of zombies, there is a golem here, a couple of golems here, there are a couple of scepters, anyway, those things that are floating around. So that's a Necro build, that's a classic Necro. Reaper Necro is very different because the hero of the whole pack, of the whole Necro pack, becomes that Reaper. And everything else that runs around kinda helps, and they are a bit of a mid shields and stuff, but they are not your main damage punch, they are not your damage output. They become more of a food for your Reaper. Because Reaper, if Reaper gets hurt, or if Reaper wants to replenish health or something else, or under some other circumstances that it doesn't announce to you, which I love, by the way, it gives it a bit of a character. It just kills one of yours. It kills one of your ads, one of your summons, and you have to resummon it to make sure that Reaper has food. I find it fascinating in a way. I find it really good. I find it awesome. So I really love it. Could not recommend more. Could not recommend more. So for me, this league, my friends, will the Reaper and this be it? Probably not. Probably not, because there are a couple of other things that I want to try. At the very least, I want to give at least one melee build a go, because I think it only deserves it. Otherwise, it's a bit, you know, kind of sad. And I love this game too much to just stop it at that point, even though Final Fantasy XIV starts taking so much of my time now. I don't know, I'll have to somehow find time. But yeah, for the time being, for a lazy midday / afternoon in Australia like it is now, lockdown in Sydney, can't go anywhere, this is probably the best to chat to my friends and do this. If you're in that kind of mood, couldn't recommend this build more to you. Couldn't recommend it more. And if you are in the mood for a little bit more active fun, but of similar nature, I would say, similar nature, then a Reaper Summoner is a fantastic choice as well. Fantastic choice. Melee builds, be ready for the fact that maybe viscerally, to give you kind of a bit of an impact, a bit of a feel that, yeah, I'm right there in the midst of it, chopping and slashing. It might give you more than this. It might give you more of that feeling if you're in that mood. But also it's harder to level, and it's more dangerous, because imagine right now me having to stay in the middle of that pack right now that I pulled. Me being semi-naked running here in colorful undies. Like, come on, man. Like, it's just not gonna be, it's not gonna be that safe. Totems, I just put them there. Boys, you burn everyone, and I'm out. Like, it's cool. I personally love it. I personally love it. All right. What else is going on? I'm gonna let my voice rest. If anything else particularly interests you, my friends who are watching this still with me, please don't be shy. Say hello, just say hello. Show of hands. It's always nice for me to know that somebody else is watching. Otherwise, I'm like a crazy person talking to myself, hey. Which, to be honest with you, I don't mind. I don't mind. Alright, level 45, everyone. Level 45. Here we go. Where are we going now? We're going to increase mana and we're still going towards Arcane Will. That's what I'm going to do. What's going on? Somebody's still spitting at me here. No, it's alright. Keep going there, burn something. Hello, Shadow Tico. Nice to see you, my friend. As I already said before, but I'll repeat myself a little bit here for the benefit of those who just joined. One of the other than safety, other than passive play, one of the best qualities of totemic builds is the fact that you can drop totems and keep running. You drop totems, you keep running, it saves you the time, but at the same time the totems are still there back there killing someone, so you still get XP. So for leveling purposes, for the speed, it's really hard to compare it to anything else. Like just hard. It's just hard. Even Reaper build, even Summoner builds. Summoner builds are fantastic, but Summoner builds require active management of your summons. Classic Necro build, less so. Reaper builds, very much so. Alright, let's put some... Before we open strong boxes, guess what? We put totems in, obviously, and then we jump away and let them burn everything. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. There will be a point in time when I think I will start feeling slightly underpowered. I'm trying to remember when did that happen in League 3.14 for me with this build, with this particular build. I was developing it pretty much similarly to this, except here I think I took a detour to self-survivability, to that kind of stuff. And at some point you start feeling that this build lacks damage output. That's where I changed it. That's why I took away from the fire nodes specifically, put them into lightning nodes. And that's where I went towards Divine Ire last time. So this build had a switch for me at some point later, like around level 60 or something. But I'm pretty sure you don't have to. You can stay true to this. Let's take a look at Nycta's Lantern. It looks alright. I actually quite like this scepter. Do you like the scepter? I actually quite like it. Shadow Tico. You've been enjoying the content. Just feeling PoE this league. Wasn't just feeling PoE this league. Just made a mistake. Ah, you're saying that PoE this league is just kind of, you're not feeling it, yeah? Mate, my answer to that as a casual player, if you want my opinion, it's always okay to take a break. It's always okay, dude. Like, it's always okay. I would say the mechanic itself that they introduced in Expedition League with those NPCs who unearth artifacts and you can gamble with one, you can barter with another one, so on and so forth. I think it's actually not a bad mechanic, not a bad league for that specific mechanic, that is core mechanic of the league. Why? Because it allows you to target some items. If you wanted Nycta's Lantern, just go and gamble with Gwynnen. Just go and gamble with Gwynnen on scepters, and you will get Nycta's Lantern after a while. You are not playing every league. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Look, my opinion is very simple. You manage your fatigue, you manage your interest in the game however you need to. For me, I go in and out. I need a main game and I need a game on the side. Path of Exile is my game on a side. You missed Metamorph. Okay, Metamorph was not a bad league, by the way, mate. Metamorph was actually an okay league. I actually liked it quite a lot. First fight with the boss, my friends. The whole stream, my goodness. The whole first fight with the boss. Let's see how totems perform here, and you will see how much easier it is to avoid boss's mechanics by simply running around like a crazy chicken, while if I was melee, even if I was a caster, I'd have to stand right there front and center and deal with that whole crowd. Here, I can focus fully on talking to you and on running around and dodging any mechanics that there are. Come on, like if you needed any other proof that this is like a lazy man's build to just have fun with, I don't know what will convince you type of stuff. Not that it's my goal to convince anyone, but it's just me sharing my impressions. I think the damage output is respectable for this level. I had builds, let's say Rain of Fire, what was it? The ranger build, the bow one. Rain of Arrows. Let's go with Rain of Arrows. Rain of Arrows build that is fantastic for clearing areas of mobs. It's great. You shoot arrows into the, you know, into the sky and they kill everything. In this particular case of this Avarius fight of the Innocence, the god emperor, blah blah, I just remember, oh boom, I died because I'm an idiot, because I ran right into his ball of fire, which I didn't need to. But big deal, we resurrect at checkpoint, come back in and kill him, no problem. But I was gonna say, so here I just made a mistake, but with the way you are the active person, who has to stop and shoot, or come there and smack someone, you know, you always by definition have less time to dodge, have less time to position, have less time to tactically make decisions. In this particular case, come on, look at this. Judging the damage output, if I had to judge here like kind of harshly, because I've just done this with my Reaper, with my Summoner Reaper. My Summoner Reaper, I will tell you, without a doubt, without question, the output of damage is higher, much higher on Reaper, much higher. But in terms of how passive it is, in terms of me just running around while totems just burn stuff, this is much easier. So there are pros and cons to this. Glad to hear, CE, that you like this build too, my friend. It is not to detract you from trying Reaper, mate. Necro builds are still fun in their own way, and damage output is a lot better. But lazy playstyle, man, own it. I own it. I am like, I don't make any apologies. I like lazy playstyle. I do. If I don't like lazy playstyle, I have other. Oh, whoa, 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 fire! Oh no, he's dead. He dead. He dead. Okay, good. Let's catch up on the messages. K-Mac, welcome my friend. League 3.14 was awesome, but 3.15 is very lackluster for you. So you've been playing standard, but you're new to PoE and really enjoying it. That's wonderful to hear, mate. Which part of 3.15 did you think was like whatever made you feel lackluster? Which part of that? The difficulty, the upfront difficulty when you went? What build did you go with? I would love to hear that, because my bet is you went with melee build and it was the difficulty that pushed you back, especially as a new player. Tell me if I'm wrong, please, while we keep going here. Oh, let's watch a scary thing happening here. This statue, oh my god. Oh my god. Well, the new players don't know what it is, the old players know what it is. The god Kitava. The god Kitava, oh my god. What are we gonna do, boys? Let's get out. Let's keep going. What I like about grinding gear games, and what I like about this game compared to even the Seasons of Diablo. Seasons of Diablo change nothing. Well, close to nothing. They give you a free set of gear. Nice. Nice. And they do bits and pieces, other bits and pieces like a new pet, maybe some new challenges if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure, but nothing substantial. Here, no, they don't add new maps. Yes, you still have to go through the old campaign and you have to go through all this. You do. Which is why I think I slowly started leaning towards lazy builds, because you have to kind of redo a lot of content. So the lazier it is the build, the more powerful it is, the better it is for me to not have to click through everything manually. Kill you, kill you, kill you, kill you, oh my god. That's probably one of the reasons. Shadow Tico says, the harvest nerf in 3.14 really took the wind out of the sails. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough, mate. For me, if I'm interested or not interested in a game, league specifically, say here in Path of Exile, it usually comes to, I don't remember what league it was, but I know it was a few years ago. Okay, bear with me. A few years ago, I was playing Path of Exile, and I actually had a lot of fun with Cyclone build. I was a Cyclone duelist. It's a melee build where you run around and kind of mow everything down, and it was easy and it was kind of cool. And Cyclone, some people said that it deserved a nerf, but when you enjoy something immensely, would you think that something deserves a nerf? I don't think so. So I remember, and I can align with that earlier comment in a way that I can say that if something took wind out of my sails, it was that. It was that moment in time. But that was a few years back. Then I didn't play for a while. I played World of Warcraft almost exclusively for a while it was in a good enough place, I suppose, as a game. Now it feels like a long distant memory, sadly, for me. And yeah, that was kind of the break from Path of Exile. Then I came back a couple of leagues back, actually. Maybe I came back in 3.13 or something, if I'm not mistaken. And that's when I resumed playing. That's when at some point I thought, you know what, kinda, that's when COVID hit, if I'm not mistaken. That would have been, what, April last year or something? Properly hit. And that's when I thought I have more time to play because I spend a lot more time at home. And I need, like, for my own sanity and for my own, like, well-being and to make some virtual friends and stuff like this. Beyond my family, beyond my other friends and stuff, you kind of feel like you're missing more of the world outside, and that's what I think drove a lot more people towards gaming. And I was always a gamer, but that's what gave me extra consideration to launch a YouTube channel. That's what made me consider, hey, I'm not an expert, but if I don't position myself as an expert, I will just, you know, try and speak the truth, try and position it honestly for the content that I produce. And if somebody wants to watch this, if somebody wants to hang out like this, it will be good. And so far it's been really, really good. It's been really, really nice. And I'm glad that we have now these occasional streams as well. These streams, by the way, in case you're very new here, streams for me are very new content. Complete noob, try to do my best with basic rudimentary setup of the streams and stuff like this. A lot of you really help telling me if it's fun, if it's not, how is the sound, how is this and that. Like, yeah, it helps. Let me catch up with you on the comments there. All right, the league mechanic, K-Max says, for the expedition is boring and not as rewarding as the Trailmaster league mechanic from last season. Yeah, maybe, yeah. You did start off as melee and as a Templar using Absolution, but then switched to an Occultist Witch and enjoying it. Interesting, very interesting. Haven't tried it yet. I haven't tried it yet, but it's in one of my lists of those new things, because they brought in one or another ability, which right now I'm forgetting what it's called. But they brought in a new ability for Occultist Witch, as for every other Ascension this league, and I'm actually quite curious to check it. Spin to Win was very fun, Shadow Tycho. I totally agree with you. If you remember that, mate, you know what I'm talking about then. It was a lot of fun while it lasted. But then they nerfed it. I vividly remember they nerfed it. I don't remember exactly what the effects were, whatever, but it just wasn't that, like, talk about wind being taken out of your sails. I was like, nah, that's it. I use the game for a specific purpose. So if I, like, bear with me, if I live in World of Warcraft, or I used to, and now if I choose to spend more time in Final Fantasy XIV, let's say, yeah, then the alternative game, like Diablo was for me, or Path of Exile now is, and was as well, yeah, it needs to be really over-the-top, ridiculous, mindless fun to create that offset for me. But if you start nerfing the abilities I like, nerfing builds I like, I'm so sorry, you're losing me as a customer, you're losing me as an online player. That's my very basic sort of attitude towards this. I'm a consumer of digital goods, right? Why would I not? Hello, Mike Snow, Repair. Good morning from the Flaming Grease 5 man. Oh, Flaming Grease, that's awesome. That's awesome. What am I supposed to do? Find the entrance to Osuri. Find the entrance to Osuri, my friends, and I found it. Let me go first and talk to Lani for reward and do all that stuffs. Alright, let's take a look at this. Come on, Lani, do you have any reward for me? Do you have any reward, Lani? Hello, Lani. What's up? Alright, what shall I take? Let's think about it. Chaos resistance, no. Critical strike, no. Lightning resistance, no. Evasion rating, no. Cold resistance, no. Armor, no. Fire resistance, no. I guess we'll take chaos resistance because chaos resistance is hard to come by. And I think I'm gonna keep it for the times when I feel like I start struggling with the way forward and when I could use something like this to boost my defenses. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my logic here. Not suggesting it's optimal, but that's what I'm gonna do. Thank you, Lani. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look what they're offering us. We only are interested in the spell damage and fire for this, obviously. Global physical damage, no. Increased lightning damage, no. Increased cold damage, no. Chaos damage, no. No. Maybe plus 15% increased fire damage. That's not too bad. That's not too bad, but rolling magma is of no interest to me, so let's just very quickly take a look at others. Physical damage, no. Projectile, no. Fire damage again, and that's molten strike. Projectile chains, well, yeah, whatevs. Yeah, okay. You know what, I'm just gonna take this and just forget about it for now. And I think Vilenta also had a reward for me. Excellent, passive skill point. Isn't that lovely? Passive skill point, let's do it. We start going towards mana regeneration rate. Maybe I will be not as mana starved. And let's not forget that I'm using mana not just offensively, I'm using mana defensively because of this lovely passive Mind Over Matter. I have to have it. What does Bannon want from me? Yep, he wants me to kill someone. How surprising. How unoriginal. Let's offload all these parts of the stuff that I picked up. Otherwise they're sort of polluting my inventory. Let's also identify these things in case they're better. Intelligence, dexterity, not bad. Rubbish. Not rubbish. At least not for a melee character. This is not terrible, but this, my friends, this. Superior latticed ring mail. See how it has five slots, five sockets. For a person who is leveling, especially for the first time beginner of Path of Exile, first time you find a 5-socketed item, you're like, wow, yes, now I'm gonna do it. And you go to your stash and you're like, let me take a look at my orbs. Do I have any orbs of fusing? And I have 3 orbs of fusing. Now, if I was naive, let's use the word naive, then I would have right now blasted all 3 these orbs of fusing to try and get a link going here between the 5th one. And then I would have said, awesome, fairly early in the game, I have a 5-linked socket item which can make my core abilities such as Flame Totem, such as something else. It would make me think that I, suddenly got something awesome. Problem is that the probability, the chance of you applying orb of fusing and getting that exact link without losing any others, I won't lie to you exactly remembering the actual mathematical percentage, but I think someone on Reddit posted it like a few years back. I might be able to find the post. It's like so low, it's not even funny. So you'd waste heaps of those orbs of fusing unless you are ridiculously lucky. Ridiculously lucky. So I'm not gonna do it. So why do I have it here? I have it here because I'm a believer and because I have hope. And maybe at some point when I have more than 3 orbs of fusing, I might come back to it and try and do some of that dumb stuff that I just described to you. It's not dumb if you're doing it. I'm just sharing my own opinions. Let's seek some prophecies. I'm not very much into Navali things because I think that this Navali prophecy mechanic, while maybe adding a tiny bit of a depth to the world and a tiny bit of fun, I think it's useless. That's what I think. And yes, I do know that you can target certain forecasts, you can target certain predictions that then, as a reward of killing that group or whatever, or fulfilling the objective of the prophecy, you do get certain rewards, like orbs or whatnot. I heard about it, but yeah, never particularly. Am I doing divine guidance with mom? You will have to be a bit more specific, mate. I imagine that you are wondering if I'm going towards certain passive tree modes. Which one is mom? Mom. Mind over matter, you mean? Divine guidance? Which one is divine guidance? Which one is divine guidance, dude? You tell me, okay? We'll come back to it. Is divine guidance the other one that detracts from let me just see, is it one of those that also takes damage before mana or something, if I'm not mistaken? This one? No, that's agnostic, if I'm... Anyway, tell me what you mean. Okay, well, this is not the best inventory management, my friends. Don't try to learn inventory management from me. They're probably much better positioned people who will teach you good manners as far as the Hierophant Ascendancy. Oh yeah, all right. Of course I've done Hierophant Ascendancy. Let's take a look at it. Where the hell am I? There. I am doing Pursuit of Faith, and I'm going Ritual of Awakening. What's mom? Still don't know what mom is. I am definitely doing the Hierophant Ascendancy for sure. Absolutely no chance of going good totemic build without going Hierophant Ascendancy, specifically Pursuit of Faith, and specifically Ritual of Awakening. Afterwards, Bob is kind of your uncle, but at the same time, yeah. Mind over matter is simply my choice to make myself a little beefier, especially in the early game. That's just how I do it. But again, like I said, this comes with an issue because I'm, issue is that I lose mana quite quickly. Does another 10% of damage to mana first and then gives Transfiguration of Mind. Mom is Mind over Matter. I'm looking at Mind over Matter, mate. I have Mind over Matter, absolutely, yeah. It's just the damage reduction. I didn't know that something procs Transfiguration of Mind. Not quite sure, mate. Not quite sure. Maybe we need more deeper comments there below the stream, below the video, for me to know what you're talking about. That's exactly where you can see where my casual kind of very quick surfacial knowledge is. Like, it's broad. I played it for a long time and I've seen a lot of things. But at the same time, beyond this basic purpose of these notes and basic common sense driven approach, I kind of very rarely dive deeply into synergies and that kind of stuff, Okie dokie, my friends. You know what? I am getting a little bit talked out, and I think my dad duties are going to kick in very, very shortly. So I think I'm going to give it about 10 minutes of a head warning, and start slowly wrapping this stream up, because this was already longer than I thought it's going to be. I really thoroughly enjoyed it and was really happy that some of you jump in. Yes, Shadow Tico, I'm waiting for your comment, my friend. All good. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting, I'm just gonna go back to Oshuari and gonna kill some more mobs. And probably, again, like I said, my friends, this is a spontaneous stream. Where the hell is Oshuari? What's going on? Chamber of Innocence, Ruin Square. Oh yes, Ruin Square. It was at Ruin Square. I think I will need to wrap this stream up and then keep them rolling. Keep them rolling, as in I'll have them more regularly, especially if you enjoy some of these. Don't be too shy to like, don't be too shy to share. No one ever shares this kind of stuff, so I don't assume that anyone would bother. But you know what, the more of us here, the merrier. In this little casual club, if you like this, if you learned something from here, really appreciate it. Really happy that this made someone else happy, hopefully. Oh, prophecy complete. Why am I running like a crazy? Look what's happening. What's happening here? Ah, that's only for a minute. It's all good. Must have gotten a massive burst of... Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It's like, it looks like I have... It looks like I have sped it up massively, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna get a speeding ticket for this from someone. Alright, just explode, jeez. Burn everything. Burn. Burn everything. Man, oh man, honestly, there are so many good builds in this game, and I love this game for versatility of content. Oh, I'm gonna die. No, not right now. Primal Skull Talisman. Regenerate 2 life per second. That's a pretty damn good talisman, if you're asking me. Let's open all of that. Maybe there's something good, no? Not particularly. That's alright. Okay. Almost at the next level, my friends. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say. An hour later, we are... What? Almost, what, 5 levels up from where I started? Not too bad. Not too bad. Hierophant is a very, very easy thing to level, especially with totems. Plug them in, outsource the damage, and off it goes. And boom, excellent. Mana regeneration there. Maybe after this detour for sustainability and mana pool, maybe I am going to return to boosting the damage. All right, Shadow Taiko, for everyone's benefit. Let me read the comment here from the live chat, in case some of you are watching afterwards and you don't know what live chat is. One of the Hierophant Ascendancy nodes does 10% damage transfer of mana like MOM, which is Mind Over Matter. Cool. It gives you Transfiguration of Mind, which increases to max mana pool, probably, to damage as well. That node is Divine Guidance in the Ascendance, and is off the middle by 2 nodes at 5 o'clock. Let's take a look, my friend. Thank you very much for a detailed write-up. I appreciate it. I do. So this is our Ascendancy of the Hierophant. I imagine you're talking about Hierophant, obviously Ascendancy. If you're taking it, boosting mana is boosting damage. Yes. I know, I think which one you're talking about. It's not here, dude. It's over here. Or at least that there is one. I know that there is one. Is it Prodigal Perfection that you're talking about? See, increased damage, increased spell damage, increased maximum mana, and 2% increased spell damage per 100 of maximum mana, up to 40%. I always used to take Prodigal Perfection in my Archwitch builds, not particularly here. I'll go back to Ascendancy, and I know you said Ascendancy, but I just didn't see anything that says it. Mana Regeneration, Sign of Purpose, Brands, no, not interested. Divine Guidance. Oh, Divine Guidance, increase one. Yes, there you go. Sorry, my man. Sorry. You're right. Look at this. Divine Guidance. Yeah. Ascendancy. You're right. Got it. There it is. I'm blind. Because previously I also like quickly looked at it, and I was just like, yeah, just completely... the side effect of playing a lot of builds, and it sounds like an excuse, but the side effect of it is the fact that you have too much information in mind. You just don't retain maybe every specific thing, compared to when you focus on a specific build or specific, when you become what I refer to as pro, a little bit there. And of course, a little bit more about some builds, a little bit less about some builds. This just kind of, I just blanked out. Completely. Yeah, that would be good. Mate. Problem is, if you asked me, would I go here during the next Labyrinth run first, or would I go here to Ritual of Awakening during the next run? And I will tell you absolutely 100% I would go here first. I would go to Ritual of Awakening, because more damage, regeneration of mana, me and Totem will regenerate health massively. I think there is more value in this node for me in the short term than going here. But obviously the third run, absolutely I would go here. But that's just what I think. Cool. All right, my friends, let me get out of here. I will finish this. So here is the deal. I'm going to finish this current task. I am in ossuary, where I'm supposed to find the sign of purity. How about we find the sign of purity? And that's when we're gonna wrap up this stream. Hopefully the quality was good for you. Hopefully it was not too ranty. If you're watching it afterwards, hopefully you found the chapters that I'm going to add in the description of the video and the timeline afterwards, as I always do, to make navigation a bit easier and to highlight the main topics that have been discussed with you friends in the chat. And I was just ranting quite a lot. But this is probably, for your information, this is probably the limit of where my voice goes and where I get slightly fatigued of constantly talking. As much fun as it is, I just get a bit like, it turns a bit into an attention span of playing and talking, you know? So probably an hour, roughly, is about where I normally wrap up this kind of stuff. Mate, CE, thank you for joining. Stream is my pleasure. Gonna be more of these streams, absolutely, especially if you are enjoying it. That's important for me, because what's the point of putting out content that people don't enjoy? I might as well just quietly play. I would still play, but what's the point of recording a stream if people just kind of, yeah, what else? But this was fun. I really enjoy doing this, really enjoy talking to you. It's all very nice, and I learn a lot from my people who are playing Final Fantasy XIV, not just through streams, but publishing content, expressing my opinion, get a correction, taking it in. Like it really works well for me. It does. All right. Excellent. We've done what we needed to do. I'm going to return back to base. Going to probably log out very shortly to take a break. Thanks again for tuning in today. Keep in mind that these kind of streams, they are occasionally popping up. Hopefully it will be overlapping with your active time on YouTube, wherever you are, during your time of day, night, and whatever. And hopefully you'll try out Path of Exile and something like this build, or a Reaper build. Right now, two of my favorite builds, absolutely. Holy Flame Totem build, and absolutely Reaper Necromancer build. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'll be speaking with you very soon again.